Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? And welcome to another edition of the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. My name is TJ Jones. Thanks for checking out the podcast. I really do appreciate it. Well, Who Dat Nation, all I got to say is that was championship football.
Here's a second and goal. Brees looking to throw. Now unloads it. Was he in? Did he cross the plane?
That's a touchdown.
That's a touchdown.
That's going to be a touchdown for the Saints.
That's right. The New Orleans Saints knock off the Pittsburgh Steelers in the Superdome by a score of 31-28. And with that win, the New Orleans Saints clinched the #1 seed and home field advantage throughout the postseason. After the game, Drew Brees and Coach Sean Payton spoke to the media.
Yeah, listen, it's hard to secure the 1 seed, but knowing that we've done it, knowing that the road comes through New Orleans, it gives us a lot of confidence. Obviously, we love playing in the Dome. We love playing in front of the Who Dat Nation. Obviously, they make this a very tough place for somebody to come in and play, and so, we're obviously we have goals throughout the season, and this is one of them.
These wins are what you get addicted to. Really, though, it's that feeling of the week is a grind. There's a lot of work that goes into it. Obviously, it's more difficult when you put in those hours in the practice and you don't have that immediate feedback with a win. And that's what makes it more difficult. But when you're able to get a win, it's hard to get that feeling out of your system once you start doing it. And that's the one thing these guys have done a good job with. Coming up with plays when we needed it. We won a lot of different ways this year, and I'm proud of this team. Man, they've showed a great resolve. Dealt with injuries. We dealt with all the adversity you might have in a long season, and that was kind of the second step, if you will, winning your division as a goal that you set at the beginning of the year, and then certainly helping your seed out.
I'm going to say this before I get started and breaking down this game. I think that this win against the Pittsburgh Steelers was the most impressive win that the New Orleans Saints has had all season long. I'm going to say that again. I think that this win against the Pittsburgh Steelers was the most impressive win the New Orleans Saints has had all season. Now, some of you are probably saying to yourself, more impressive than the Eagles game? Yep. More impressive than the Cincinnati Bengals game? Yep. More important than beating the Atlanta Falcons twice? Yep. This right here was a very, very important game. This game, to me, was the only game that I think the Saints have played this season that felt like a playoff game. I'm talking about playing for something truly. I'm talking about win at all costs. Now, I'm not talking about that fake media stuff they be talking about, oh, if they win this game, then they get this, or they're playing for this. Nah, bump all this. This was a game right here, was clear and cut. If the Saints win, they get the #1 seed and home field advantage versus a Pittsburgh Steelers team that was fighting for their playoff lives. They were fighting for their playoff lives, and they gave the Saints every single thing that they had. I'm talking about some real big hits. That hit by T.J. Watt on Mark Ingram, when Mark Ingram wasn't paying attention, man, when he hit him in the side of the ribs, I thought Mark Ingram wasn't going to come back into the game. These guys were head hunting. I mean, you seen fake punts. These guys pulled out all the stops, man. I know there were teams, if they played in the Superdome and had to overcome what the Pittsburgh Steelers had to overcome in order to make that game a game in the fourth quarter, they probably wouldn't have done it. So I got a lot of respect for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but this is what you call playoff football right here. When you're playing for something, when you're fighting for something. Because in the playoffs, there is no tomorrow. If you lose, you go home. And I felt like this game had that type of feel. Drew Brees, man, what can I say about him? What can I say about Drew Brees, man? For all those people out there that's been screaming from the rooftops, Patrick Mahomes this, Patrick Mahomes that. Look, Patrick Mahomes is an incredible young quarterback. I got a lot of respect for Patrick Mahomes. but Patrick Mahomes has not delivered in clutch situations. I mean, his numbers are gaudy, and honestly, it's very appealing. He has amazing arm strength. I will never take that away from him. But when it matters most, I have yet to see Patrick Mahomes deliver the way Drew Brees has. 3rd and 20, okay? 3rd and 20. And Drew Brees connects with Ginn Jr., who I'm going to get to in a minute, for 25 yards, okay? I know of a quarterback that would have thrown that ball to Keith Kirkwood, and Keith Kirkwood would have had that drop. It probably would have messed with their psyche, but not Drew Brees. Drew Brees always believes he has a chance to win the game. One of the most clutch performances by Drew Brees. No, he didn't have 4 and 5 touchdowns. He only had 1. But the one that he did have mattered most. I don't want to hear about Patrick Mahomes with all of these numbers because honestly to me, until you actually win a game that actually matters, you ain't doing nothing but stat padding. I will give you a prime example and we will move forward. The Heisman Trophy situation. We were all talking about Tua Tagovailoa, right? Oh my God, he is so great. Oh, he never plays in the 4th quarter. And then came the SEC championship game when everything was on the line. This guy could not deliver. They had to go to backup quarterback Jalen Hurts in order to deliver. So that particular situation, because he could not bring his team to the promised land, he lost the Heisman Trophy to the quarterback from Oklahoma. And I tell you this right here, Patrick Mahomes is looking like Tua Tagovailoa right now. Point blank, period. You got to win, man. You got to get it done. If not, you just padding stats and making your numbers look good. But Drew Brees, what a great clutch performance. Now, let's go ahead and talk about this game. You can't look no further than Ginn Jr. Now, I didn't think that he was going to play in this game. I didn't think that he was going to be healthy enough. Yeah, he was. He came off IR. Yeah, he practiced. But I didn't think that he was going to play in this game. I really didn't. For him to be active during this game was a shocker to me. But I tell you what, man, they missed Ginn Jr. because now defenses have to respect Ginn Jr.'s speed and his ability. And now you have to roll some of the coverage off of Michael Thomas and on to Ginn Jr., a true number 2 receiver, and the Saints definitely need this guy. I mean, this guy stepped up and made some clutch catches at crucial times of the game, and quite honestly, I think that the Saints wouldn't have had enough to get it done if it wasn't for Ginn Jr. Alvin Kamara, man, NFL, I don't know what the hell wrong with y'all. I really don't. I don't know how you can allow Alvin Kamara not to be elected to the Pro Bowl. Now, I really don't care because if you're a Saints fan, you don't want no Saints to play in the Pro Bowl anyway. You want them to play in the Super Bowl. But the fact that Alvin Kamara has not been elected to the Pro Bowl is laughable. You might as well just throw the whole Pro Bowl in the trash. This guy is just absolutely amazing, man. That pass that Drew Brees threw to him on a line like that, I want you to name 3 running backs that can catch a pass like this. This guy is a running back, or excuse me, he's a wide receiver masquerading as a running back. This guy can do it all. A true Swiss Army knife, man. Unbelievable. Now I have to talk about the defense, okay? Let's talk about this. Let's address the elephant in the room because I seen your tweets. I seen your comments. What happened to the defense? What happened to the defense? Oh, they getting smoked. Oh, Marshawn Lattimore, he's supposed to be a number 1. He getting smoked. Oh, man, look at Eli Apple getting back to old Eli Apple form. What happened to the defense? Look, the Pittsburgh Steelers offense aren't any slouches, okay? Antonio Brown, new flash to some, but not to many. The guy is an incredible wide receiver. He is arguably the best wide receiver in the National Football League. I said in a tweet that there is no shame getting beat by Antonio Brown. I mean, did y'all see that one-handed catch that he caught in the back of the end zone? I mean, come on, man. You cannot have any better coverage than Marshawn Lattimore had. And the guy still came up with the catch. The guy is incredible. Antonio Brown is incredible. Juju Smith-Schuster is incredible. These two guys, for the exception that I can think of, Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen, are the best wide receiver tandem in the National Football League. I know a lot of people don't know that much about Juju Smith-Schuster. We all know about Antonio Brown and his ability. But Juju came out of USC, and he was the best wide receiver in college football. Now, you probably didn't know that because, you know, a lot of people who probably follow the Saints probably live in the South, and we focus more on LSU and the SEC. But in the Pac-12, this guy was incredible. This guy made great catches, but he just played on a USC team that didn't win many games. So when he went to the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's not a surprise that he is as good as he is, man. And to be honest with you, these guys are going to get their catches. They're going to get their catches. You could put, man, I'll put it like this. Ask Richard Sherman. Ask Richard Sherman about Antonio Brown. Matter of fact, ask a teammate of theirs. Ask Joe Hayden, a guy who played for the Cleveland Browns for years. For years, man, going up against Antonio Brown. He know what it is. I mean, this guy makes some of the best cornerbacks in the National Football League look foolish. And for you to say, oh, man, what happened to the defense? The Pittsburgh Steelers offense is good, man. Ben Roethlisberger, despite what Cam Jordan said about him, I mean, he is a future Hall of Famer. I mean, some of the plays that he made, the improvisation, prolonged them in order for his receivers to get open. I mean, it was incredible. I mean, in the third quarter, Big Ben had over 140 some odd yards passing, man. And you have to be honest, if it wasn't for his escapability, this game wouldn't have been close. This is a good offense. So I don't believe anything has happened to the Saints defense. They just went up against an offense that really needed this game. They really needed it, man. The Pittsburgh Steelers gave it all that they had. And the Saints, they made the stop when they needed the stop. Now, let's talk about the defense in the fourth quarter. The Saints defense, if the Saints defense can play like they played the last, I say 4 games of the season, nobody is going to beat the Saints. Nobody. Because the quarterback play that you've seen out of Ben Roethlisberger, you are not going to see that by any team in the NFC. Not Kirk Cousins. Maybe Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson can kind of do some of the same things as Big Ben. But you're not going to see it from Jared Goff. You're not going to see it from Mitchell Trubisky. I mean, you're not going to see this type of play. You're just not. And if the Saints defense can play like this, nobody is going to beat them. Nobody's going to beat them, man. Because Big Ben can escape out of the pocket. He can run around. And that gives the receivers opportunities to get open because they break off their routes. And if the front four is not getting any pressure on the quarterback and he's getting out of the pocket, it just gives the receivers enough time to get open so the quarterback can throw him the football. You're not going to have many quarterbacks that can do what Big Ben is doing, especially in the playoffs. So I feel like the Saints defense, you're going to see the Saints defense that we've been seeing in those 3 away games in the postseason. But the New Orleans Saints get it done by a score of 31-28. Congratulations to the New Orleans Saints football team. A championship effort. I cannot say this enough. That was a championship effort, and I am so proud to be a part of the Who Dat Nation. I know you all are proud to be a part of the Who Dat Nation because this team right here shows so much resilience. I mean, they can be down by 17. They can be down by 21. I still believe that this team can come back. I'll give you a prime example. Now, the Saints were losing in the game. I think it may have been like, I don't know, the third quarter or something like that. Yeah, it was. It was the third quarter. I think it was 28-24, and they showed the sidelines, and I seen Alvin Kamara over there smiling. He's smiling and laughing on the sidelines. Now, these guys are down by 4 going into the fourth quarter, and he's smiling. And that show you right there, man, the confidence that this team has. And I'm proud of these guys, man. I'm really proud of these guys. Me personally, I've watched a lot of Saints football. I mean, I seen the 2009 team when they won the Super Bowl. I seen the 2013 team when they was the resurgence or the reemergence of the greatest show on turf. But I tell you what, this might be the best New Orleans Saints team I have ever seen collectively in my entire life. in my 32 years of living, this might be the best Saints team I've ever seen. And if they play with this much heart, they play with this much passion, and they play with this much grit, I'm telling you right now, the Saints are going to the Super Bowl. But this has been the State of the Saints podcast. I would like to hear from you. What do you think about the Saints-Pittsburgh Steelers Week 16 game? Comment down below, like and share this video. Also subscribe to the State of the Saints podcast YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com, search the State of the Saints podcast. And also follow the State of the Saints podcast on Twitter at SOTS Podcast 8. That's SOTS Podcast 8. This has been the State of the Saints podcast. All I have to say is, who dat?